Hello, I'm Diane Williams, and this is the Crafty View. I'm here at the Blacksmith Studio this morning, and I'm going to interview Mr. Larry Strayer. So you're about to meet him and learn all about his craft. Stay tuned. Hello, Larry. How are you?
I'm doing just fine.
That is wonderful. There's a lot going on here. This is where you do some of your work?
Yes, it is.
And what is that? What do you do?
I do metal sculpture, I guess, for lack of a better term. I don't do much blacksmithing, but I do a lot of metal manipulation.
Okay.
Primarily, I'm known for my bottle trees. I've been making bottle trees since 1996. And I thought the trend would die out after a year or two. It's just as strong now as it ever was. And so I make bottle trees from small trees to big trees. An example is my little tree over here, my 7-inch high tree right there. And I have across the street is one of my big trees.
Oh, I like that little tree. Nice.
That's a cardholder tree. Good. And then across the street is a large tree, and then out on the patio is another tree.
Oh, and this is your work, isn't it?
Yes.
Could you tell us about the bottle tree?
Well,
What's unique about it?
The history or what have you?
Anything,
well,
yes.
The history is convoluted, but it came over with the slaves, and it's been incorporated into Southern culture. It's really only in a few states like Mississippi, Alabama, East Texas, and that's about. And they hung. The native Africans hung glass and trees for the tinkle, for the sounds of the spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow or another, we're today with bottle trees.
Yes, I see them all the time. So tell me, when did you get started with your metal work?
In 1996.
So 1996. And what got you started?
I worked my way through college as a welder.
Okay.
And I have a degree in horticulture, and I retired from that. And so somebody asked me, could I make a bottle tree? I said, of course. And so I decided to make them look like trees and not sticks. So therefore, I build my trees uniquely. No two are alike, but all are similar. I bend my limbs on the bench, like a florist takes a bouquet of flowers and makes them fit into an arrangement. Such as this right here is some of my raw material for limbs. I find each one speaks to me, so to speak, and I put them on the tree.
Oh my!
And that's how my trees are unique. Is that I bend them. Everything is being bent freeform, no forms, and the stems are bent, and I find the spots where the limbs fit. And I just a free spirit.
Well, I've always wondered about the bottle tree because don't the bottles just fall off?
No. They if you notice across the street, they're at an angle, and enough acute angle that they won't fall off. They will not fill with water, and so they're fine that way.
Okay, and what other kinds of things do you make now?
I also make birdhouse stands for a couple garden centers that have these expensive wooden birdhouses, and also I build some small trellises. I don't build big trellises anymore, but small trellises, mostly out of rebar. I don't have any to show you this time, but.
And what is on what do people put on the trellises?
They just put them for
the standalone
vines,
yes.
They're all made out of solid steel, so they're used for long-term plants like climbing roses and all those things like that. Something that'll last for years. Unlike some of the imported stuff we have, that's so thin that within a few years they rust out. this will last 40, 50 years.
Really?
Yeah.
That's well worth the investment.
Yes, it is. And anyway, that's kind of in a nutshell what I do.
And prior to this, you said you were a horticulturist.
Right.
So do you incorporate any of that? I know with the trellis, but are there any other things where you incorporate the greenery or the flowers?
No, I will. I build some rose towers and some other accent pieces for gardens, and I make some faux gates. Strictly, they're not functional. They look good. They look like they'll function, but they're stuck in the ground, and they're just for decoration purposes. You know, a lot of people are making what they call garden rooms, and they're using it for a divider or a gate over. I do some gate overs. On my older shop, I had room to do that, and here I'm kind of limited on the space. But so anyway, I'd love to work.
And now, is all of this that I'm looking at some of the things, some of your tools?
Yes,
and
yes, I use a lot of different tools. I use a lot of grinders. I use a lot of grinders of all different sizes, and the benders and cut-off tools and things like that.
and saws and
Saws, the chop saw for cutting to length, and then I have another saw here to cut to vary behind me here, various degree angles on stuff.
This is an investment for sure.
Yes, I hate to add up all the investment, but anyways, I buy it a little bit at a time.
Well, you know, somebody will always walk up and say, "Oh, I could do that," and I'm thinking, I don't know if they're going to put the time and the investment into it.
A real funny story. I used to do a lot of craft shows, and over in Vicksburg, I was selling a tree, and the lady had her husband with her who was a pipeline welder. He said, "Honey, I can build one, no trouble at all." And so the next year, they came by, and she reached in his front pocket and pulled out a wad of money and says, "I want that tree." He said, he tried to make one, but he used sucker rod. He said it took 4 men to pick it up out of the truck. And the limbs are so big, the bottles won't fit on the end of them. And so I always amused him and told the story. He didn't quite
Figure it out, yeah.
You know, my stuff, I'm not, nobody's life is, I don't have to weld according to pipeline standards, because nobody's life is endangered with my stuff. If it breaks, it breaks.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a lot of fun, and and I work at it every day.
Wonderful. How long have you been a member of the Craftsmen's
I think
Guild?
it's 15 years.
15 years. So you're a master you're
Fellow.
a fellow now. I call that a master craftsman anyway. And when I say master craftsman or person, what I'm saying is that you have worked at this so many years, you understand the elements of what you're using.
Yes. I've had several interns start with me. Most of them don't ever last over a few days, because they don't understand the sparks and the sparks and the burns that a person gets.
Oh.
And so they said, "Well, we'll do something else."
Oh.
Yeah, I've only had one intern last 6 months. 6 weeks, excuse me. Most of them lasted less than a week.
Well, what about your fellow metal workers? You have friends and acquaintances.
Right, but we're not. Well, everybody's is quite a bit different venue. Yes, we get together occasionally, but we don't have any organized organization as such on our own.
Yeah.
The blacksmiths do, but the regular metal sculptor, we're so varied and what have you, like Harry Day and what have you. You know, we talk and we're friends, but we'd hardly ever communicate daily.
Okay. So everything you do is sort of unique to you, to your style,
Yes.
and your understanding of the elements of the materials
Right,
you're
and
using.
I have to make jigs up, and I have to make jigs up for different materials, and I don't know where the other one went to, but I make but it's just a combination of just like the woodworkers have jigs, metal people have jigs. You have to the wire. I use a lot of wire. This is tie wire for bridges and so forth.
Oh.
And so it's a wire that's soft initially, but after you work it, it gets harder. And then I use these right here, these landscape spikes to make crosses with. And in the process of cleaning those up, these are some old rusty nails that I clean up. They initially like that. I make them look like that so I can weld. The reason, and the other, cause some of my nails are clean and some are not. I have to get them all clean. So that when my rusty nail crosses, I have to start off all equal. So I have to clean them down to bare metal. So that when I rust them, they'll all be equal looking. Otherwise, they won't look equal.
They won't look the same.
I let them rust for about a month to 2 months, and then coat them.
Okay. Well, this is a unique way to showcase your cards, your business cards, Junkyard Crafts, where junk becomes art. Larry Strayer, and here's how you can contact him. He's on Facebook, and he's at junkyardcrafts@yahoo.com, and also his phone number is listed there, 601-291-3075, and he is a Brandon resident. But take a look at these small bottle tree business card holders. Tell us about this, Larry.
Yeah, this is a unique. I found I was trying to determine on old antique wrenches. I had a lot of people ask me what to do with them. They inherited uncles and grandfather wrenches, and they're sitting rusty in a pile. What are you going to do with them? You don't. So I came up what I call heritage art. This is taking. I can take something of your family and turn it into something for your desktop or for your mantle, and then so this on these wrenches, this is made from scratch out of twisted wire. Everything's handmade, and this one is just a larger version of that with a junior tree.
Yeah, and you would just fill it with these cute little bottles. They're tiny.
Yeah, these bottles, a lot of these bottles, I have a mixture of, these are reagent bottles from a supply lab in Tennessee. I get their overruns. And then these little bottles are from essential oil bottles.
Oh, essential oil. Oh, the essential oil people don't like you.
No. And so I buy these kits, and just I have a whole bag full of.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, they are cheap. They're cheap. That's what I'm a cheapskate.
Yeah.
I repurpose stuff. My wife always complains about my backyard. It's junky. I said, no, baby. It is inventory. And it is.
Yes.
But I have a bad habit sometimes of leaving it there for a year or two. It has to speak to me. but
I can just see her face when you say that.
There's nothing I don't want to reuse.
Yes.
Repurpose. I eventually on all my art, I will use almost every piece.
Oh, that's great.
In 12 years of my shop, I have a small bucket that is never filled up with cutoffs.
Nice.
I use 1,000 pieces of rebar a year, and I use every piece. On my small tabletop trees that you probably saw inside there,
yes,
I use all my little short pieces. And when I have cutoffs on stuff, and so I consider nothing waste.
Okay.
I mean, from that small on up, because that's a nub.
Yes.
That's a limb that died.
That's
a
a limb
nub.
that, okay. Wow. Do you do shows, festivals?
I do not anymore. I used to do a lot of them. I do the Christmas show here for the Guild in
The
first part of
Chimneyville show.
Chimneyville, the first part of December, and they have one or two a year out here, and I do those. But old age caught up with me on shows.
Yes. Okay.
Lifting all this heavy stuff and
Ooh.
going and gumming. I said one day I woke up and I said, no.
That's enough.
This year, no.
Yeah.
What I did instead, I started making dealers, and so I have garden sitters that have designers in their on their payroll. I'll put stuff there. I have one in Madison, a Madison Garden Center, up in Madison, and I have one in Ponchatoula, Louisiana, which gets a lot of the New Orleans trade.
Yes.
And being a one-man shop, maybe more like a half a man or three-quarter, because I take time off. You know, this is a lovely vocation, but and it pays for itself. But I have to have a little. But I don't require it for my living standards.
Right.
But I just love it doing it.
Yeah.
I work I'm here whether I'm productive or not. And whenever I'm at home, I always have a scratch pad in front of me. I'm just sketching something out.
Yes.
I'm bad about plagiarizing. I'll see somebody's this art. I said, I got something that'll make that work. I'll change it up completely different, but it gives me the inspiration to do stuff.
Yes, yes. And so some of your things, as we mentioned before, are in the craft center here that people could come and see and purchase.
Yes.
So that's great.
And then, like I say, and heritage art, old tools and things that you have from people that's passed in your life, grandfathers, uncles, what have you.
Bring them to Larry.
Your old dirty toolbox. I can make a mantelpiece for it. I can make a picture frame for you. I can make a candle holder, what have you, out of it, and you can even you can put it on your mantle, and you can remember Uncle Harry's tools.
Yes, that is fabulous. So a lot of people right now are listening and they're gathering up Grandpa's tools and they're ready to contact the Craft Center, and they'll contact Larry Strayer and he will take care of creating something wonderful for you. Is there any last words that you'd like to share?
Come visit me. I'm here from usually from 10 to 4.
On what, Tuesday through Friday?
Well, actually, Monday through Friday.
Oh, really?
I come here on Monday when there's nobody bothering me.
Okay, okay.
So come. I love to talk. I love to talk and just come on.
Wonderful.
I'll stop my projects most any time.
Thank you so much, Larry Strayer.